This is ground zero, Brandon. This is where this whole nationwide textbook initiative started.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brandon Lewis, founder of the Tennessee Conservative. Today, we are joined by Laurie Cardoza Moore, founder of Proclaiming Justice to the Nation. And she is a respected go-to voice on the front lines of the battle in ideological, social, moral, and religious areas for the minds of our children and this generation. A homeschooling mother of five, Laurie Cardoza Moore's original wake-up call was the discovery of anti-Semitic, anti-Christian, and anti-American content in her own children's textbooks. This revelation showed the early seeds of indoctrination that has been so directed towards America's children, and that led her on a quest to bring awareness and change through every avenue she could reach: legislative, media, advocacy, and ultimately through the development of PJTN programs and documentaries that are shared and used to educate people on a mass scale. This led her to be appointed to serve also on the Tennessee Textbook and Instructional Quality Control Commission. And today we are going to be discussing an exciting opportunity that's fast approaching, so do take out your calendars. It is the Taking Back America's Children Conference, an event happening close by in Franklin, Tennessee on Sunday, January the 29th. Laurie, welcome to the program. Thank you.
Brandon, thank you so much for having me on the program. And yes, I want to encourage your audience to join us in Williamson County. This is ground zero, Brandon. This is where this whole nationwide textbook initiative started, because we found in our textbooks in Williamson County a textbook that was not just anti-Semitic, but anti-American, anti-Judeo-Christian, anti the values our nation was founded upon. And Williamson County has always been a conservative, evangelical community. And so it was right in this county that this whole nationwide effort happened. Fox News picked up the story. We kept pushing this out in the media, telling people, look at your kids' textbooks, get them to bring them home. And we were, after Fox covered the story for 2 weeks, we were getting phone calls and emails from people all over the country saying, we made our kids bring their books home and we're seeing the same garbage. And it was at that time that I realized, because the way the textbooks and the content, the way it was published, I said, they're going to turn our kids against us because of the content. And sure enough, a decade later, we see our kids killing people in the streets. We see our kids attacking people in the streets, attacking physical buildings, government buildings, personal homes. I mean, it is unbelievable, tearing down monuments. But we were saying this a decade ago, Brandon. We were warning people, this is coming, because the textbooks being used in Williamson County by Pearson Publishers, also now known as Savas, what is being used all over the country. In fact, the Pearson published textbooks, 80% of them are used in the United States of America. They are the largest textbook publishing company in the world. Their shareholders, top four, include the Islamist governments of Qatar, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Libya. Well, you think they got a good return on their investment? I think
they absolutely did. And what happens in today's classrooms happens on the streets of America tomorrow. And we are seeing those chickens come home to roost. So we have to educate folks. I think people fought for about 2 years and now they're ready to go back to sleep. When the kids were under their own tutelage, when they were sent home by the Tennessee state government and other governments, began to see these things. And so it is time to take this momentum and continue on with it. So tell me about your upcoming event, Taking Back America's Children, why it's so relevant today, especially based upon what we're seeing like today, not what happened even earlier, getting this ball rolling in Williamson County, but what's happening today in Tennessee schools and our culture.
Yes. So as you know, I serve on the textbook commission, and there's a reason why I serve on that commission, because we were involved in exposing this propaganda again a decade ago. And as a result of the work that we did, we were able to change the state law in Tennessee, requiring that textbooks have to be accurate. They have to be unbiased. They have to reflect the values of our community. And unfortunately, those textbooks don't. Now we're seeing the impact of that in the school library books. And that's another issue now that we're taking up as the textbook commission. But unfortunately, my colleagues on the commission, only one person, she was the newly appointed librarian, had even read one of the books. But I have been inundated with books that our children have access to in the library that is not only anti-Semitic, but also riddled with propaganda, riddled with pornography. This is stuff that these kids should not even, in fact, these books violate our own state statutes. So how in the world, explain this to me, Brandon, how in the world do we have books sitting in our library that are against state statute, that are illegal? And this is under the child indecency laws. How do these people get away with doing this? Well, I'll tell you how they do it, because there's a provision or a protection in the law that states if you're an educator, if you're a government official, they even have a category called other, but other isn't defined. What is other? Who is other that can give this garbage to our children? So no, when we went after this a decade ago, we changed the state law. The state legislature fired the textbook commission because they had approved that one textbook that was not just anti-Semitic, but anti-American. They fired the whole commission, started with the new one, made it more broader and transparent. And we need more people serving on this committee that are engaged in what's happening in their neighborhood. And this is not just Williamson County. It's across the state, Brandon. I'm being inundated with text messages from moms and dads who are sending me, pastors are sending me, even the Speaker of the House is outraged. He's being inundated with all of this. And of course, I will mention that Speaker Sexton appointed me to this position because he knew that we would expose what was going on. This is outrageous that this is happening. So the reason why we're having this conference is to train and equip parents and tax-paying citizens. You may not have a dog in this fight. You may not have a child in the school system or a grandchild in the school system, but if you're paying taxes, your tax dollars are paying for this garbage to be taught to our children. You should have a vested interest. So what are we doing? We're doing exactly what we did a decade ago. We went to the school board. We told our school board members, we want that book out of our classrooms. They did their little research and they voted one night at a school board meeting, which we made sure we had standing room only parents there to testify, asking them, every one of them got up and said, we want this book removed. Well, I got up and I said to them, look, this is an election year. You've heard from we the people. If you don't get rid of this textbook, we're going to get rid of each one of you. Well, guess what, Brandon? We had 4 months to search for people to run for school board, get them on their campaign, and then win those elections. And in 4 months, there were 6 school board members up for re-election, and we brought all 6 down in one election. It had never been done. It sent reverberations across the state and across this country. And that is why I travel all over the country now, speaking to parents and citizens on the local level. Look, everybody was asking, where was the red wave during the November elections? I'll tell you where the red wave was. It was in the local races. It was on the school boards. We've been working in states like Florida, Ohio, Texas. We were flipping school boards. The counties that we were involved in, we had school board members who were flipped and went conservative from liberal. Now, we weren't involved in Miami-Dade, but look at what happened in Miami-Dade County, one of the most bluest liberal counties in the country. We got one of our people in Broward County, and she just appointed a group of conservative moms and dads to serve on a task force for the school board. I mean, this is how we take back local control. It's incrementalism. We have to fight the battle the same way the opposition does, but we have to be engaged. We have to know what's going on. We've got to study. We got to review the materials. We got to speak with our elected officials. And then we need to remind them, you are sitting in your position of authority because you got elected. And we want you to hear from us. So that's what our goal is. The goal of this event, this summit, Taking Back America's Children Summit, is to equip moms and dads and taxpaying citizens with the ability to go out and flip their school boards. We're focused here in Tennessee on 2024 now because we've got a whole slew of school board races that are going to be coming up again. We need candidates to run. And again, I want to be very clear. PJTN is a nonprofit organization. We don't endorse candidates, but we will equip you. So you will go and you will run for school board and you will get elected. Because this is what parents are looking for. This is what taxpaying citizens are looking for. People who are willing to take on the powers that be, draw a line in the sand and say, not on my watch.
Exactly. Well, and today's school board member is tomorrow's state senator, is tomorrow's U.S. senator, is tomorrow's president. That's how it goes. Not every time, but it's the easiest path. And we need as many conservatives at the bottom so that 10 years later we have those conservatives at the top. So who is speaking at this event, and we know what are some of the additional things that people can take away from it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're bringing in Sheriff Mack because this is another important component. When you go to take on your school board, you need to make sure that you know who your sheriff is and that your sheriff is going to support you, that your sheriff is not going to allow these books that violate state statute to remain in your school library. So we're bringing in Sheriff Mack. He's going to talk about the role of the sheriff in your county and why we need to form those relationships. Most people don't even know who their sheriff is. Fortunately, we have dusty roads in Williamson County, but it's the sheriffs across the state. We've got Stephanie Meyer. She's going to be coming in and she's going to be training on how to lay out a strategy to victory. Then we have Robert Arnicus, who's coming from the Leadership Institute. Robert is coming to equip parents and citizens to run for these specific offices. So we're looking to find people who want to be informed and educated, understand the process, learn the process, and then lay out a strategy for victory. We've got Tina Griffin. She's going to come and she's going to talk about the impact of the curriculum and the library books on the culture, on what's happening to our young people, how our suicide rates are going through the roof. Kids are depressed. Of course, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be talking about the strategy we used here in Williamson County. And fortunately for us, we're also going to have a group of others. Troy Miller is coming in with the National Religious Broadcasters Convention. Troy brings an important component to this because he has access to all the media, the Christian media across the country. And so we're bringing him in to talk about the role that Christian media must play in countering the narrative of the mainstream media. We don't have that. We're not, we know we're not going to have the help and support from mainstream media. We have to go to the media that is the lowest hanging fruit for us to get our message out, and that is through Christian media, because the people who listen to Christian talk shows, Christian media, they're the ones that are already educated and informed. That's what we need. We need to make sure that we've got people that are going to take a stand, that are going to be informed and educated, and we have to bring the Christian media into this process to help educate so we can activate parents and taxpaying citizens to take back local control of our communities and our children's education. Because you're right, Brandon, our children are the future. And if we want to preserve this republic for them, then it's up to us. We, the people, moms and dads, we have to get engaged in the battle. Gone are the days of just checking out and saying somebody else is fighting this battle. No, ladies and gentlemen, the cavalry isn't coming. We're it.
Well spoken and well said. Often people say, well, I'm a conservative. And I will say to them, let me look at your bank account and let me look at your calendar for the last 90 days. And if no money and no time has been spent, you might say you're a conservative, but the actions might say otherwise, and a good chance to take action and to demonstrate your conviction and to equip yourself to follow through on it is at this event. So tell us when it is, where it is, and how people can sign up to attend.
Yes, absolutely. So it's going to be Sunday, January 29th, and it's going to be at the Enrichment Center in Franklin, in Williamson County on Columbia Pike. It's right next door to the Williamson County Library. It's going to start, doors open at 7:30 for registration. We're going to have breakfast served, a continental breakfast available. We're going to start out with a message. I'm going to deliver the message that morning about biblically why we as believers must be engaged in this battle. Then we're going to go right into the training with Stephanie Meyer that afternoon, Robert Arnicus is going to do his training. And then at about 3:30, 4 o'clock, we're going to start the closing of the program by having a salon style interview program with some of our top leaders talking about these issues, answering questions for the participants that are there. But Brandon, seating is limited and it's filling up. We only have 100 seats for this event. So if your audience wants to join us, please go to pjtn.org. That's PJTN, like pajamas, Tennessee.org. Sign up, register. We also are going to be serving lunch, so you can order lunch or bring a brown bag yourself. But it'll go till 5:30, maybe 6 o'clock in the evening. And it's going to be one of the most important programs that you get to participate in this year, because we're trying to organize now, Brandon, to make sure that we've got our ducks in a row for the next elections, the school board elections. We are coming back to Williamson County to tell all those Williamson County school board members, just like we did a decade ago, we're coming for your seats.
Well, as well you should, until people start losing their until people start losing their seats. Nobody takes anything seriously. So that's I'm glad that somebody is working on that, and Williamson County has been, from what you're doing to the Moms for Liberty movement, has been a catalyst and a inspiration to people across the state. You've been kind with your time. I'll give you the last word, guys. Go to pjtn.org. Book your tickets now. That's pjtn.org. Book your tickets. Laurie, you've got the last word.
Yes, Brandon, again, thank you for giving me this time. And I just want to speak to our audience. We have those of us who are believers, we are commanded in the word of God to show our faith. Because faith without works is no faith at all. And we are watching our nation crumble. And our children are counting on us, even though they may not understand it yet. They are counting on us to stand up and do the right thing. We have limited time. And we're in this situation because we weren't paying attention, because we were busy living our lives, doing other stuff, thinking everything is fine. No, it's not fine. And we see the evidence of that. That's why the way we take back control of our nation is we start locally. And that's why this event, Taking Back America's Children Summit, the whole goal is to flip your school board. We've done it before, we can do it again, but it requires the boots on the ground. And so that's why I need you. Again, please go to our website to register at pjtn.org. God bless you all. I look forward to seeing you next Sunday. And Brandon, God bless you too. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to share this with your audience. Now is the time to roll up our sleeves and get into the battle.
Absolutely. And guys, I've worked on many, many campaigns, and you do not start running a few months or a few weeks before. It is much easier sailing if you will get your act together a year and a half, 18 months ahead of time. So guys, do go to pjtn.org and register for that event. Laurie, it's always a pleasure to speak with you, and I appreciate everything you do in Tennessee.
Brandon, we appreciate you as well. Thank you for helping us to get the message out. God bless you.
Amen. Guys, if you enjoyed this interview, please go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com and hit that red subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter and search for Tennessee Conservative wherever you get your podcast. Until next time, I'm Brandon Lewis, signing off.